So hey welcome back to another one of my videos. So today, you guys have read the title, and we are going to be talking about what it's like to have divorced parents. So I mentioned it in another video, and then I thought, you know what, I'll talk about this in the video because it's not something that is largely talked about. So I decided that I would talk about it. So basically, my parents have been divorced for as long as I can remember. They got divorced when I was 2, so I really don't remember it all that much. So growing up, obviously living with one parent and then visiting another parent kind of like was the normal for me, and I just want to talk about some experiences that I feel like are unique to people in a similar situation. So right now, I live with my mom. So I've lived with my mom again all my life. When mum and dad got divorced, she moved back up here, and obviously she had custody of me and my brother, but it was arranged that like my dad could come and visit us, and my dad still visits me to this day. Obviously in the current situation with lockdown, I haven't seen my dad in about 2 months, but we still keep in contact. I thankfully have a really good relationship with both of my parents. However, because like I live with my mom, I found it really weird growing up that other people lived with their dads, because I could never imagine living with my dad. I remember one time I was like sitting in class and we were like doing like, it must have been like a class about our families, and everybody drew like, you know, their house, their mom, their dad, and their brothers, sisters, whatever. And I'm just sitting there like, well, I have 2 different pictures in my head for that. I have 1 during the week with my mom, and 2 weekends with my father. I never pictured them in the same room, because the only time I ever seen them speak was when my dad collected me and my brother. I never seen my parents as having like a relationship. Like obviously I know that they did, but I can't picture it. I don't know if this is a similar experience for other people, but when I'm with my dad, when I was younger, I got away with a lot more. I was given more money and more junk food. I don't know if, like my dad used to let us watch Family Guy. He used to, like when we slept over, he used to let us stay up as late as we wanted. I think it was more like a kind of thing like it was his treat because he only seen us like once a week, whereas mom had to like parent us the entire week, take us to school, all that stuff. When I was younger, I used to always feel like I was living a slight double life, just like Hannah Montana, which I mean at the time I loved Hannah Montana, so I thought it was super cool, because you will get 2 birthdays and 2 Christmases every single year, because you have Christmas with mom, Christmas with dad, birthday with mom, birthday with dad. Nowadays I do still have 2 Christmases. I spend Christmas Day with my mom and Boxing Day with my dad. In recent years, my birthday, my dad basically just gives me the next Sunday he sees me, or the Sunday before my birthday, depends what one is closer. He will just give me me and my brother like our presents. It doesn't mean you get more presents because there's still the same amount of family members. Your birthday just lasts that wee bit longer. And Christmas as well. Another thing is you will have to deal with your parents in new relationships. This isn't so bad now because my dad got remarried. I know my stepmom, I'm used to my stepmom. We get on great. When you first meet somebody that your mom / dad is dating, it can be really awkward because first of all, you have to test this person to make sure that they can fit into your family function. And if they don't, you have to try and subconsciously warn your parent without telling them, I don't like your new boyfriend / girlfriend. I usually know within like the first few hours whether I like the person or not. And after that, if you ain't good enough, I'm going to be leaving hints the whole time. That's how I did it when I was younger. Nowadays, I'm 20, so I just deal with it. The worst thing though is when your mum / dad is in a new relationship and they also have kids. It's a common theme because obviously when you're dating a bit older, there's more possibility for there to be children involved. So like when they have like when there's children there, you have to, they just put you in a room together and just expect you to get on. And sometimes that's not the case. I do get on with my step siblings perfectly fine. We see each other at Christmas and we talk and everything and it's great, but there has been some instance like in past relationships and stuff where there's been children and we're just two different people. And you're like, how do we get on? Because if these two get married, we're going to be step siblings. It can be really weird. The whole like your parents getting into new relationships can be super strange. Here's another thing. I'm not sure if it's like a uniquely me thing, but it's also something I noticed. Growing up, I always said that I didn't want to get married because I was convinced that it would end in a divorce. And I don't know if the reason why I'm scared of commitment is because of that. To be honest, I'm actually the kind of person once I'm in a relationship, I am all in. I don't see the point in being with someone for short term. I always be like, right, if I'm in a relationship with somebody, I always explain like, I'm looking at this long term. But I also have that niggling fear of commitment in the back of my head. And I don't know if that's because of the divorce thing or if it's just a me thing. Having to explain everything twice. Once to mum and once to dad. This is an LGBT thing, especially when you have to come out to two sides of the family. Because coming out is already awkward, but usually once you come out to the family, you're out to the whole family. But because those two families don't speak, you have no choice but to do it twice. Because you can't tell mum and not tell dad. Here's something that I also realised. You will have a closer relationship with one parent more than the other. And it is usually the parent that you live with. Obviously, like, I love both of my parents equally. They are both great people. I get on with both of my parents great. I know I have a good relationship with both of them, but because I live with mum, I do have a closer relationship with my mum. Here is something that I know only happens when your parents are split up. When you're asked out to something, for example, your friends are like, oh, we could go to such and such on Sunday, and you're like, ah, shit, sorry, I'm at my dad's. And people sometimes think it's an excuse. I've literally had one time I said it to my friend, and I was like, oh shit, sorry, I'm at my dad's, and they were just like, oh, good joke, and you're like, no, I'm genuinely at my dad's house. I physically cannot commute to there because I am in another county. You have to kind of just like divide your life between sometimes two households, which can be strange. And the last point, again, I don't know if this is just a me thing or I think it is just a me thing. I really do think it was a me thing, but I also think it stems from divorce, so I'm going to put it in here. Worrying about your own wedding because you know it is the first time where these two families that don't speak and have a kind of conflict are going to meet again. It's going to be my wedding, or my brother's wedding. It could be my brother's wedding. Please be my brother's wedding. At least mine will be the second meeting and they'll know how to tolerate each other, but for some reason I think it's going to be my wedding. I have genuinely just considered going to the registry office and just doing it in secret. I just think it's going to be so awkward. Like, I'm going to have all my friends there, and then I'm going to have to, like, keep these two families segregated in case one granny talks to the other granny in some sort of way. They kind of have a little bit of conflict, and you're like, oh shit, I thought we put her on table 33. Why is she migrated over to table 60? At my wedding, it's going to be the first time my mum meets my stepmom because I can't not invite my stepmom because that's my dad's wife and I get on with her, and it's just, oh my god. I've just accepted the fact now that it's just going to be an awkward mess, so I'm just trying to figure out ways that I can not make it an awkward mess. So yeah, there you have it. That is some things that I have realised from coming from a family where both my parents are divorced. If you're also the child of two parents that are divorced, comment below and tell me what things that you've like kind of found or thought about when like, is that because my parents are divorced? Or if there's anything in this video that you're just like, nah, my parents are together and I still think that. So thank you guys so much for watching that video. If you did enjoy it, please give it a big thumbs up and also subscribe with love, and hopefully I will see you guys in the next video.